You are listening to Food for Worms, the original true crime podcast.
Food for worms. The song is called Dragula. Does that count as fees?
It's funny that you were like playing that song earlier because like I for some reason it came up on my YouTube feed that it was an old interview around the time that it was like one of Rob Zombie's Halloween movies came out, and he was on Conan, and it's probably one of the one of the most awkward like talk shows, like interviews. Not because either one of them is like trying to weird out the other person, but just because they are so polarly different.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yes, there are guys that went on talk shows like Andy Kaufman, or when Joaquin Phoenix went on Letterman with his fucking beard and put gum under his desk or whatever. Yeah. Like, there's people that went out of their way, but like that interaction of Rob Zombie and Conan was just goofy. Yeah. So it was just awkward in that sense or whatever. But
I didn't see that one. I can imagine that. Those two being two different personalities entirely, but just I can't imagine that until Rob Zombie's making movies for 20 years now. Coming up, so it's like I've never seen him really on a press run before, and if he has, it's usually low key, right?
Well, I feel like he doesn't do too many. Like like not for every single movie he goes out and does.
So if he gets his hands on Halloween, and he fucking got his hands on Halloween, him doing like a major press run and running through fucking Conan, I could imagine. Yeah, I could be like. I could definitely see him just being really uncomfortable and weird there, and Conan picking up on that and also being uncomfortable and weird.
Well, and I think they're both just kind of uncomfortable and weird in general. Yeah. So then they both were just like out weirding each other, just like not trying to, but just naturally, like that's where it went or whatever.
Shout out to Zob Zombie.
Zob
Rambi. Yeah, no, no. Shout out to him because like with we were talking about the maybe you and I weren't, but I was talking with somebody about like the box back in the day. Remember that channel, or so you could buy music videos and it would play and shit? Rob Zombie's that song Dragula is one of my earliest memories. I'm like just like, and I have again no context for who the fuck a Rob or a zombie is, but I know that I got like a 15-second snippet of that song repeatedly, more than I care to fucking remember. And
when did he switch from White Zombie to just going out as Rob Zombie?
Couldn't tell you. I didn't know. I thought Rob Zombie was first. I didn't know White Zombie was.
Well, because I mean, I think it's kind of the whole like Marilyn Manson thing, because the band Marilyn Manson started out as the band Marilyn Manson, and then he just became the man Marilyn Manson.
Really?
Yeah, like they were originally called, I think, just like the band was called Marilyn Manson, and yes, he went as Marilyn Manson. Yeah. But like I don't know enough about their thing except for like the guitarist's name is Twiggy, and he's fucking goofy as all hell. They get into fights on stage.
I thought isn't Twiggy from Korn?
Oh, maybe Twiggy. I don't know enough of those like 90s.
Somewhere Joe Olsen is fucking rolling his eyes right now, and
Joe knows nothing about Korn, about Marilyn Manson, about Twiggy.
Off, you don't know what the fuck Joe doesn't know about. Joe has an eye open to the infinite. Okay, I think Joe's fully capable of knowing some very very vague Korn /
I think there's also like a supermodel from the 60s name that went as Twiggy. And that's because I remember it like coming up in like not in conversation but like on a talk show or something, like somebody heard about it, and this is
something Joe would know.
Yeah, definitely. And but I think my mom was like, yeah, that was like an actress or a supermodel back in the day. And I was
hey,
like,
everybody,
while
we're finishing up the topping of this conversation, if you could do a web search and then come back to us in the Food for Worms grab bag and let us know, that would be great.
Yeah, because we don't have Google.
Fuck us, right?
But anyways, folks, welcome. You're listening to the Food for Worms podcast. My name is Sam.
My name is Darien, and guess what?
we're in the same room
We're
together,
in the same
yo.
room together.
Yeah,
Everybody
yeah.
freaked the fuck out.
Yeah.
Listen to this, the crisp quality.
I know,
of
but back
this.
up in the attic, the energy. Like we've been killing it on that. What do you call it? The interwebs. Us chatting over the computer. But
Oh my gosh,
man, I'm a fucking old.
it's a series of tubes.
Yeah. But the energy when we're just in the room together, it's just my brain is firing at all cylinders.
There's a dog sleeping nearby. A baby called me grandpa today, and that was weird. But
And then we were talking about how like we hope someday. Like someday, like we're at the park and she just tells some random person, like, my grandpa's black.
my grandpa's
like,
black. Yeah, that'd be fucking amazing. Yeah,
And then she just walks away from
Walks
them,
away.
and their day was just like, okay,
Yeah.
like
I'm sure
that that's not a possibility,
Yeah,
but just like, why did this kid randomly just
Yeah.
come tell me this and then
Like,
walk
I'm
away?
Sure, I'm sure he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on, child.
Yeah, you go have
God damn
fun.
it.
Stop pushing my kid over, because
Yeah.
my kid will definitely be the kid
Yeah,
shoving
she hit
kids
me
over
in
at
the face of the fucking pillow tonight. Yeah, she doesn't give a fuck. Well, she's like, grandpa, and I was like, I'm not your grandpa, but okay. Oh my
But she
God.
gave you a big kiss on the cheek. She's definitely come out of her shell a little bit, man.
That was nice. I wasn't expecting that at all. I wasn't even looking. No one asked.
No.
And I was watching whatever fuck she was watching on TV for a moment, and I just feel this incredibly just wet and very sweet peck on the face, and I was like, "The fuck was that?" And then you and Brooke were like, "Oh," and I was like,
Well, and then me being the needy motherfucker I am, I feel
Yeah,
left
you
out.
went in-
So
yeah,
I
you
went in for one, and
went
she snubbed me, and I was just like, oh man.
I was yeah. I'm sorry, y'all. Like to see the light drain from Sam's eyes. Like I want nothing but good for my brother, but I was definitely like, fuck you.
For sure. Well, and we were Brooke, my wife. She made some chili earlier, and I've been talking with Dee about like what I've been kind of up to, because we as you all know, we took last week off. Just we needed some time to just have a breather for a fucking week, and it's really good that like the time coming back onto the microphones is in person together. And I've been spending a lot of my time diving back into like old things, but like also like old memories of things, because we were chatting. I don't know if it's a couple podcasts ago about like, maybe a way of figuring out how to like make some extra money or whatever. And then I was like, man, I got a lot of like cool shit that I was telling Dee earlier that I'm like a pack rat, and I hold on to some things that are like, yeah, you have 2 Sega Genesises. You don't
obviously
need.
you buy 2.
Yeah. You don't. But why have I held on to 2 for like 15 years? Because someday I'll sell one on eBay. And
is that what you told yourself? You got the second one?
yeah, that's what 16-year-old me. But like I've always been able to. Like I don't even remember where I got that, but it was probably like a garage sale my mom and I were at.
Garage sale, yeah.
And that's how I was raised. Like going, one of my favorite activities as a kid was going, antiquing. I've always been a big proprietor of, is that the word?
Antiquing?
Well, of reusing things. Is that the word, proprietor? No.
I think proprietor is just like it's your thing. Like you just like, I don't. Let's not get caught up into it. I don't fucking know. Yeah.
No, yeah, I don't know definitions. Yeah. But no, I've always been I love the idea of reusing. So I like buying used things. So like thrifting, fucking antiquing, garage sailing, and like with that, I've learned. I like to think that I can find some cool things sometimes, and then sometimes I like hold on to them for too long because I think like someday I'll have something to do with it. And then now I've just been like refinding these things, and I'm like, why not pass them on to someone that'll actually use it?
Hey, no. For money.
Yeah, for money. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing that sparked it. Like, why am I now like I now found that for some reason I bought. Do you remember that shitty 4th Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie?
Yeah, first off, one, Turtles Lost in Time was the shit. Go fuck yourself. I liked it a lot. That was my favorite one.
No, that was the 3rd one. The 4th one is the Next Mutation. And
what?
Yeah, and it.
Oh, you
and
mean
it is,
like when
and
it
is
in the TV show?
No, it spun off into a TV show, but it's called The Next Mutation. And there were toys that came from that, because The Next Mutation. Do you remember the one where they found their long lost sister that had the light blue?
No. Okay.
Her sash was light blue, but the fourth one, The Next Mutation, it wasn't bad because they found her. It was just bad all around, all together.
Yeah.
But I found those action figures I have a fucking bin downstairs.
Jesus Christ.
Labeled TMNT, because it's all of that's the only toys that I've held on to. That and like that and some.
Do you have Shredder?
I have the Super Shredder from Secret of the Ooze, where he like bulks up under the deck. Yeah. So I found that one in there, but I'm selling those 1997 shitty ones from that movie, and I found out that the fucking the van from that time period. I have the van, and it's worth like $50. Nice. So that made me like semi a little earlier.
No, I'm good, thank you. I'm glad that you were able to get some blood flowing down there from your toys you held on to. No, that's dope. I guess before I get into my little diatribe, I will say that I'd never actually counted the Next Mutation as a continuation of the movies. Once they were done,
it was a way different maker and everything.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But it was like, I guess like I knew that it was a thing, like a little 90-minute bullshit ass movie TV show. Because if I recall, like when they did the TV show, they were like fighting some kind of dragon mutant people, and that they turned into fucking bats, and sometimes they're flying around fucking New York City. It was fucking weird. And then they had a fucking spinoff episode with the Power Rangers. I'm good. And that was so fucking weird. But circling back into the actual conversation, about being a pack rat and shit, it's like, I don't know, I've never gotten the sense that you were a pack rat, but I've also never been too much. I haven't been in your basement that much. So.
Well, and I, like I said, I get it from my mom, because we both, I think, have a good eye for things, even if it isn't something that I would buy and like purchase. I know what like certain things, because I've been to so many antique stores and like estate sales and auctions, all this stuff. I know what some things are worth, and then like with continuing to shop over 20 years, you see what things are still considered valuable and whatever. Like if you have a lot of those original, like the reason I'm selling the 1997 shit is it's not as cool as the 90s and 91, the stuff like right after the comic book, right when they started making the cartoon. Those first run of toys are. And that's why that's like the only toys that I've held on to for this long. But I learned from my mom. Like that's what I'm saying. Those are the only toys she held on to because she knew they were like actually important to me. It's like probably the equivalent to the generation prior to us. I bet a lot of their parents saved their Star Wars toys from the 70s.
You a good chunk of them didn't, and that they fucking got sold at other fucking at estate sales and fucking my stepmom sold my brother Brent's his Star Wars toys, but I think, don't quote me, but I think he gave her the okay. But like I remember like one of the first feuds I ever got into with my mom was at fucking preschool. There was a thing where you fished, so you had like a fishing rod and there was a bucket on it, and you brought a toy like to daycare, and it was like a toy trade, so you get a mystery toy. Like like when I know. But as I'm like 4, we have to go along with whatever the fuck they're doing. We do not, Mom.
And my mom, she put in April O'Neil. But my mom's logic at the time is she's like, it's not one of the turtles, it's not Splinter, it's the girl from the TV show. And I'm like, Mom, like, yeah, but it's still April O'Neil. So that was like when I was like 4 or 5 years.
What did 4-year-old Sam do when he found out that happened?
Well, I don't even think I knew until later on. Like, I think she told me probably when I was like, 9, 10, 11.
I would have been mad as hell. Man.
Yeah, but so she's like, she still apologizes to me to this day. She's like,
wow, you bring it up a little asshole, don't you?
Well, I think I did in like my early 20s or something, but it's definitely just turned into a joke. But I don't like remind her of it now. Okay. Like she brought down my bin of turtles or whatever, and she's like, yeah, like she always mentions like, sorry about April.
So
And I'm like,
traumatic.
yeah, but my
Jesus.
mom's rad because she knows who fucking April O'Neil is, and like she knows Keno from Secret of the Ooze and shit like that.
She watched those movies just enough. She gets it.
Oh yeah.
Shout out Ernie Reyes too from the fucking second movie.
One
Ernie Reyes Jr. Excuse me.
And Corey Feldman was Donatello in the second one.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Right. Well, then, as it pertains to holding on to things, yeah. I don't know, like being able to when we're just growing up with all this shit, just having it, and then not really, growing up and not really giving. Like the world's heavy enough,
right?
And short of like having an understanding that these things may they don't always do, but may have some value later on down the line. That was never the forefront of my head, and there are times where I remember having some really specific toys that I see going for like $500 now on the fucking resellers market. I'm like,
oh yeah,
and I'm looking at like. I'm like, Darien, you 7-year-old fucking idiot. Why did you hold on to that toy? And then I was really because you were 7. You weren't thinking about that.
Well, and I'm not trying to say like I was thinking that as a kid. But this is going to be worth that.
But as you gotten older, they said you've been fucking antiquing and shit. Like I remember going out to garage sales a little bit with my mom, but honestly, most of the garage sales I went out to were like with Kid Stop because like there was a time during the summer where Kathy she would take a van of us to a bunch of these little fucking affluent neighborhoods in central Minnesota, and we would go fucking garage sailing.
That's actually rad as all
It
hell.
was fucking cool. And I remember like
instead of going like to this like science museum's rad, but let's go to the fucking garage sales and just go garage sailing for the day. And that's so cool.
$20. It was a little field trip, and it was dope.
Hell
but
yeah.
But as you're getting older and shit, but like just holding on to some of those things, like it's there's a level of like when you have like those when things are tied to memories and shit, because for me it's like whenever I do go out, if I do go antiquing, if I have gone antiquing or if I've gone thrift store shopping, I usually go with a purpose because I'm utilitarian in a lot of aspects. So if I go out and buy something that I don't like, it usually has a purpose. Like I rarely go shopping just to go shop, especially when I'm buying older things. But when I circle back into the things that I do hold on to, it's almost always things that came to me or I resonated towards,
like a present or something.
No, something like I hold on to like okay, I hold on to a lot of birthday cards and like really sweet cards people have written me. I hold on to those and everything, but just like as for like these little items and trinkets and shit, like I hold on to it because I remember who gave it to me. And here's the thing, it's never big things, it's always small things. Like I have like these little 11-ounce totes with little mini ones. Yeah. That you put like think any art room you've ever been into and they have like those little tubs.
The marker tubs.
I have like 14 of those in different storage things, just filled with like cards and trinkets and little toys and like these like from things from buttons to you remember those when the Star Wars Phantom Menace came out? Yeah. And then there was like those do you
have the pop cans?
No, fuck no. I have no, like there was those puzzle pieces.
Oh yeah.
I have a few of those. For some reason I have the Jabba the Hutt watch. And like you
still do?
Yeah.
That's rad.
And then the other side has fucking Princess Leia on it. And it's like I just remember those. I when I hold on to those things, I'm like, I remember this from this reason. And I wore that fucking watch for a fucking summer. And then it stopped working. I was like, I'm gonna throw inside the thing. Yeah. But then I have like little things that my grandpa he worked at Caterpillar for a long fucking time, back in the 70s and shit. And he has like all these like fucking little Caterpillar mini trucks and shit that he helped build. Right. And then little stones from different beaches I've been to. I have all these little things, but it's like all these things where it's like if I had to walk away, but my relationship with it is I like them because I like holding on to them because they bring me some kind of like little, joy. Not joy, yes, but like it's a piece of a memory. Yep. But I'm also mostly willing to just throw them away at any point. I just don't because I haven't needed to yet.
Well, I think it goes back to like why. Like when I'm thinking about like these things that we've had since we were like little kids, I think my mentality about it has always been the same. Like you hold on to maybe some of those things to hold on to a part of yourself. Yeah. You know, so it's like even some random fucking like I can't even think of what, but like
Transformers.
I had a
Transformers.
Walkman. I had I think my first Walkman. It was obviously broken, but I think I was hoping someday I would get it fixed. And I had it for like 5 years and it just didn't work. Why did I hold on to that? Because it was like this is my first, like I build connections with things like that. Like that was the first thing I personally had that I was listening to my music on.
Yeah,
you
I
know,
remember that.
and I still have the headphones, but those fucking work.
Do you have any, listen? Do you have any CDs from back then?
I have all of my CDs from back then.
Me too. I have my first 2 CDs I ever bought with my own money.
Really?
Yeah.
And I think I might have mine as well. But yeah, all my CDs are in the car because that's the only fucking CD player I have in the house. I've got, 1,200
You keep all your
records.
CDs in the car?
Yeah,
Why?
because I don't have anywhere else that I'm going to
You
play
put
them.
them away. Okay.
They're in CD cases.
You actually have them like in a booklet. You have them like in an actual, okay.
In a booklet.
All right. Why would you keep those in the car?
Because I don't listen to them anywhere else.
Okay. No, at this point, those are archivable things, and they should be archived.
I should bring them up here because this is where all my other music is.
We're gonna go on break real quick while I talk to Sam really quick about why he's keeping
Intervention.
Yeah, we'll be right back. Fuck. Food Performance Podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. Sam, you've been to therapy, right?
Yeah, it always helps my brain and my heart to get the weird, sad, scary stuff off my chest.
Yeah, man, the case of the sads comes at you fast, but yeah, without a healthy mind, being truly happy and at peace in this day and age is just hard. It truly is.
Well, and I mean, who wants to go to an office where you have to be by like a real life human?
Absolutely not. No, not in this me body, sir. No, I'm not doing that.
Well, and then like the recycled air, just that you both have to breathe in each other's faces
to validate your parking and talk to Janice outside. No, thank you. To avoid that nightmare fuel, BetterHelp is a customized online therapy that offers video, phone, or live chat sessions with a licensed therapist. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy and can start communicating with the therapist in under 48 hours. That's nice, right?
Yeah.
Super
Yeah.
rad.
This
Super rad.
podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and Food for Worms listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/foodforworms.
Goddamn right.
That's betterhelp.com/foodforworms.
I don't want to wish this on you, but if somebody breaks into your fucking car and then they take your as shitty and unlikely as it would be that somebody in 2022, 2021 would steal CDs, but if somebody steals those fucking CDs, it's gonna break your fucking heart.
You are right.
You
are right, man. Like you have a burnt CD that a friend burnt you. That they're like, I think you'd like this band, like Choking Victim. I learned about Choking Victim because Holly Reese burnt me a CD of Choking Victim and
Holly
Streetlight
Reese.
Manifesto,
Holly
and like
Reese.
gave me those when we were like 15 years old. I still have both of those CDs because I think that burnt CD is even more important than the majority of the discs that you buy that are like the store.
Yeah,
because it reminds me more of that friend getting me into that music than that actual CD.
For fucking sure. No,
because I have that shit on vinyl now. I'll listen to it on that. But that's why I kept those.
Yeah, I mean, I think like holding on to actual like mixed CDs. I think that's a whole different bag than like holding on to a CD that you purchased from so and so because of a band. It's like. Because right now, like playlisting is back.
Yep.
And how useful it is in terms of marketing endeavors is in the wind, but it's still a really fun, cool thing, and people they listen to it because I think like, it's a really passive thing you do. You just put on music sometimes, or you're listening to it intentionally.
Mm-hmm.
But back when CDs were fucking king and queen, and we were trying to and we're just listening to music, and like we're that young, and we're being influenced by all the different things. Like I remember having a fucking CD that had Disturbed on it, and then the very next fucking song then was Outkast fucking was 1/4 of Stankonia, and then a few Disturbed songs. It made no fucking sense. Okay?
I like the selections because that is how it was. Like I think I had like I always went to Media Play.
God.
And they like categorizing wise, their shit was all over the fucking place. So I'd see Tenacious D sitting here, then here's Limp Bizkit, and then here's this, and it was all over the place. So like a lot of my mixes putting CDs together.
Yeah, I didn't really get to like make CDs. Like I always had CDs made from me, like, and it wasn't until like we were old enough and iPods were becoming a thing, or having a mini MP3 player was a thing. Like, like I remember like when those were coming out, they were so fucking expensive and new and weird. And I remember like my very first MP3 player I had ruining it because I didn't realize you had to fucking eject the motherfucker. So I'm like, hey mom, why is my thing being all weird? Like, what, why is it saying that it's being corrupted? What could I have done to it that is wrong? It's like, well, and then 32-year-old Darien's like, well, Darien, you fucking idiot, you kept just pulling the fucking thing out without ejecting it. Like, you would know. It was like you didn't read anything. You just fucking started playing. Like, why?
What was it called? LimeWire or whatever?
LimeWire is how a lot of people they pirated music or just pulled it in, or whatever the peer-to-peer shit was.
But that's how it was back, like from our generation.
In
like there was Napster, I think, a little prior to us, and then LimeWire, and then there's like one other one going on.
Mozilla.
Yeah, yeah.
Some shit. Yeah, man. Holding, and I guess getting back to our major point was like just holding on to shit, man. Like, it was. I think I'm ready to let go a lot of it because, like, moving cross country.
No way, man. Keep that shit.
No, okay, not all of it. Like, because here's the thing: we can be selective because there are certain things where it's like it doesn't serve us anymore.
You're right.
Like just dead ass. Like at this point, it's just sometimes it is just clutter, and sometimes if it's a rock, it's a fucking rock. And short of it being like an agate, something that you found on a fucking camping trip or some shit that has whatever. I don't know, but it's like, not everything is meant to be kept. Right. Some things we have to let, and that's what I've been telling myself, because it's like I'm home and it's gonna be home, but I can tell you right now, there's at least gonna be 2 days that are gonna be dedicated to me going through some boxes and getting rid of some shit, because I have no intention or want to bring it with me back to fucking New York City. And even if I wasn't living there, it still doesn't serve me. Like, it's just taking up space. And while I'm doing my best not to just be pulling in more shit that I don't need, but it's like as we live and as we grow, we accumulate things. Yep. And we just do, regardless of our attachment styles to things, or like just how we try to bring them in. Sometimes you just end up with stuff like, I tell you now, like, I now have a Craftsman fucking toolbox. Yeah. You know how I got that?
My garage
from you.
sale.
I got that from you.
Or my yard sale, yeah.
And at one point I was like, why the fuck do I have this? And then I ended up finding a use for it, because I can actually have like a tools and weapons that I keep in there, and it's great. Yeah. Thank you so much. Like, there's a use for that. But by getting that, I don't need this hanging wall thing anymore, because
you could hang my toolbox on the wall to now make it like one and the same.
It makes no sense if I did, But as we get older, and I guess I've just been trying to focus on let go of things. It's like you hold on things because you can now sell them, because you have a lot of really cool rat shit. But for me, it's like I don't need this stack of just random little knickknacks that are just literally clutter.
Well, and like you said, you've never been one to, like, you're utilitarian, so you don't
to
go
a point.
But do you have you found yourself, like, sometimes will you go in a store and see like a knickknack? Because I'm definitely a knickknack guy. I like having goofy shit everywhere, all over the place. So like, do you ever go seek that out, or is it more so like you said, gifts that come your way?
I think life is a gift, and sometimes things every day is a gift. I hope he kept the fucking receipt. No, no. I will say that knickknacks, I don't go out looking for it. Yep. If it's a gift, it's a gift, and I appreciate them. And short of it being like something that is absolutely useless and I don't need, then I will usually almost always hold on to it for a little bit until I'm like, I'm either going to regift this or it's going to end up in a donation bin. But mostly, if something is so profound and funny and it just hits me the right way, I'll fucking buy it.
Right.
But then here's the thing though, if that keeps happening, because I'll catch myself in a pattern where it's like, this was also profound and awesome, and you bought it as well. And now I'm like, great, now I have a fucking rubber skull mask that is too fucking small for my head, so it's not going to get worn at any point.
Do you consider yourself more of a minimalist?
I think that I am a minimalist trapped inside of I think I'm a minimalist at heart, but in reality, I definitely hold on to some things. But most of it has a use. Yeah. Like the little knickknacks, the little memories and shit, like they're small. they're little tokens from a time of me going through something or experiencing something or going to a place or just something that was small enough that it could go inside of a bin and then not be in my fucking way.
Right.
But even then, like, you go through things, like, sometimes when holding on to those little things, it's just like when you are, it is the physical version of holding on to a bunch of pictures and videos in your phone.
Yep.
And sometimes you don't need to fucking hold on to those things. Sometimes you need to wipe the fucking hard drive. and I guess, like, I've been wanting to physically wipe my hard drive,
right,
in terms of just all these little things, because it's just taking up space. And sometimes, like, it's like, even in my last home, it's like I lived there for almost 8 years.
Yeah.
I had so much great, beautiful, and incredibly sad things happen to me while I was in that house.
Right. You grew your most
I grew
and
my
like
most
lived
in
your
that
most.
space.
Yeah.
And then once I got, and then when I moved out, I moved across the fucking country. Which
Peace.
like, peace the fuck out, get the fuck out of here. But it is one of those things where it's like, I'm like, I guess I've just been looking more at it, like, just letting go of certain things, and then not letting myself get caught back up in the cycle of the memories of something when I go back and revisit it.
Right.
And then to do that, to be most effective in letting this stuff go, letting go of the physical part of it, because sometimes there's a physical token of it.
Right.
Letting go of that helps me move on.
Right.
In a way.
Well, and I just continue to go back, like, our way of, like, shopping, because you're saying, like, a lot of the stuff that you keep is gifts and things that are given to you, and they're small. They mean something to you because it reminds you of that human or that time you had with someone or something like that.
Or a deep found appreciation that I was even thought of.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like, but when I was a kid, like I said before, just like a large part of my childhood, like, my mom and I, that was the thing we always did. We'd go antiquing and thrifting and garage sailing, because, like, the find was the thrill. I can haggle like a motherfucker. I look through every
What's
fucking,
the best you can do?
No, but I look through every fucking thing. If I go to, like, a huge antique store, like, Brooke hates it because she can run through the thing in a half hour.
Yeah.
I'm in there. I could spend 4 or 5 hours in an antique store and just, like, do that, because finding the rad deal on a super rad fucking thing, I think that's more so the thrill that comes with, like, holding on to some things. Like, I went to it wasn't an auction, but, like, a flea market at a farm one time. It's on the side of, like, Highway 10, I think, in between St. Cloud and in the city somewhere. But it was in a barn, and I found a keytar, a Moog keytar from the 1980s. And it,
do you have it now?
No, Jeff Cantos now has it, but I bought it.
Hi, Jeff.
I bought it. I bought it in a barn in, like, rural central Minnesota. Like, I don't know, we'll say, like, Monticello area. And it's like a nice ass keytar. I was like, what would you take for this? They're like, oh, that, like, keyboard thing. How's, like, $15 sound? And I was like, yeah, I'll give you fucking $15.
Yeah.
That was the best fucking find I ever found. And then Jeff actually, I never played it.
Yeah.
I threw that in my closet because it was just, like, a cool fucking thing to show people. Because I found it for I found it for $15 in a barn.
I wouldn't know.
Just sitting there. And
listen, if I was
Jeff still fucking has it, dude.
I believe it. I'm saying, when did you find this keytar?
I mean, this was probably a decade ago, and then Jeff bought it the first year I moved to the city, so probably he's had it like 8 years, 9 years.
Yeah, Jeff Cantos. I'm gonna say, it was like, imagine, like, and no, you and Brooke been together for that time, so
yeah,
Brooke, I love you, but like the joke, my joke was like, he's like, you entertain a girl and you bring her to your room, and she's kind of like, your closet's open ever so slightly, and she's like, Sam, like, is that a keytar? She's like, you're like, yeah. So this really rad thing I found at a flea market. she's like, he zips up her hand. She's like, great. I don't date keytars. Have a good night. And just leaves.
Well, and when we first met, I also was the dude that my mom had, for some reason, like, everybody else hates clowns. My mom and I, we love knickknacks that are creepy ass clowns.
That sound okay.
And yeah, I know. But my mom had it was probably like a 2.5 foot tall statue of a clown from, like, the Charlie Chaplin era, like 20s, turn of the century, probably somewhere around there. And it's the clown making a frown face, but he's holding up a mirror and, like, looking into the mirror. and I just took it and put it in my bathroom and used it as a toilet paper holder. I would just put the toilet paper on the fucking mirror, and that was like first time Brooke ever came over to like my residency. That was in my bathroom, and she was like,
That's the weird.
"That's not okay."
What
Like,
if, listen,
I don't think that's what she said, but it definitely creeped the fuck out of her. Yeah,
you know that could have been the catalyst, man. Your life could be totally different because of that fucking clown. Brooke,
she's put up with way more than that creepy ass clown.
I'm talking about the beginning. I'm saying that if we were to go back in time, and if we were to have a couple of things that were like, maybe she's like, I'm not sure about the Sam guy. I'll go hang out with him one night. And she walks into your bathroom and she's like, nah, I'm good. Like that. That's Oh, I'm glad that y'all are together. But that's sorry, I woke you up, Noxie. Noxie's like, he's like, hey, homie, chill the fuck out.
Yeah, my dog is just chilling here in the corner.
Yeah.
But I think same time, like same era, I found a mandolin at a thrift store, and I paid like $10 for it or something. And I don't think it was like a really nice one, but I got it, and I think I was like maybe a little under the influence when I went, and I was like, oh,
as one does.
Yeah, I'll learn how to play mandolin. Like I can play a bass guitar. It's same fucking thing. I'll get a mandolin. So I got it, and then later on that week, I accidentally like tripped down my stairs and landed right on that mandolin. But that's when I decided like, maybe it was never meant to be.
Yeah,
so like, I think in that like same era of like Brooke and I first meeting, like the biggest hardship I had at the time was landing on my mandolin at the bottom of the stairs.
Landing on my mandolin, yeah.
But no, I mean,
it sounds like a hard time for. Sounds like something like a folk singer would say. Like, don't land on your mandolin.
Don't trip down those
stairs. Don't trip down the stairs. Whatever you do, don't keep your mandolin at the bottom of the stairs, because you land on it. Man, I miss Dungeons and Dragons. I miss Dungeons and Dragons so fucking much.
Yeah,
I miss it.
You haven't been able to find like a community out there at all.
It's not that I haven't been able to find it. I haven't been looking that hard, and when I have looked, I was looking in all the wrong places. Can I tell you a story?
Walking panub in all the wrong places. Walking panub. Do you know? Have you ever seen that bit?
All right, everybody. So I'm sorry. There's like a moment of like just absolute just astonishment and just like shocked silence that from that. Please tell me more about this.
That was Eddie Murphy as Buckwheat on SNL singing "Looking for Love," but he sang it "Wookin' Panub."
Okay.
But continue your story. Sorry for my side tangent.
No, that's all good. I'm still confused about it. All right. No, you're good, buddy. I was looking for a Dungeons and Dragons group, but for some ungodly reason, I just decided to look for one on Craigslist in Brooklyn.
Oh man!
And if you haven't tried typing dungeon inside of any Craigslist anywhere, you're gonna get mixed results, everybody.
Are there any that like the descriptions could it be taken either way?
Honestly,
like someone has a dungeon or they have a dungeon like so
afraid.
Vaguely it could be both.
There was only a few of them, and once I realized what I had done, I was so afraid to click on anything. I was like, I feel like I'm gonna tell. I'm gonna click on it, and all of a sudden it's gonna be like, I don't know. You ever do something on the internet, and obviously everyone has. This is a really relatable story, but you've done something on the internet, and then the very next day, week, month, year, you were targeted for that as ads. Yeah, I was afraid to go any further on that, so I just backed out of it.
Yeah, because then that'd be everything coming at you, and then like randomly, your phone dings, and that's the one thing your mom sees that's on your phone or whatever.
Woof, right? Terrible, absolutely terrible.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, so what are you about to say?
But you haven't like the people because I know people out there. They're not nobody from. Some of the people out there, nobody's into the D&D thing.
No, I don't really have any Dungeons and Dragons friends out there yet. I'm looking for them though, and it's not that I'm not. I'm just I want to play with folks like in real life.
Right.
And in the room with them eventually. But no, I have been after mentioning my foray into Craigslist Dungeons and Dragons. I mentioned this to some of my coworkers who were just like, "Hey man, you know the things like Reddit, right? You fucking idiot." And I was like, and it was like, aha, yes, Reddit.
That definitely would be the thing that you should do, not just Craigslisting for.
It was so dumb. I was like, yeah, and then there are also like meet websites that are they're just like if you're looking for a community for something that I've just been looking into, and between that week when that happened, and then between me doing some traveling between now and the rest of the month, I haven't really delved into it because I didn't want to start something and not be able to fucking jump into it.
Right.
So that's been 1/4 of the challenge, man. But just like Dungeons and Dragons, man, like I didn't realize how much I fucking have depended on it for like just like a really occasional escape from like just reality, because like,
well, that's legit though. I mean, you need that.
Well, I have different escapes from reality, but with that one, like the collaborative storytelling, the playing with friends, and also like, I mean, I was a dungeon master for most of for the entire pandemic that's still happening, but the pandemic back in the day and the before time, but playing has such a fun release, and then the collaborative effort, because that's something I found out recently through my job, is that we do little personality things, and I'm a really collaborative spirit, and I think that's true. But like playing the old D&D with the homies, and slaying some dragons and running through dungeons and drawing dick dragons, which is a whole inside joke. If you know, you know.
Dick dragons.
Dick dragons. It is a lot of fun for me, like so much so like I've always really been into like Dungeons and Dragons podcasts, man, like like hardcore into them, because like just listening to these other people play, and then like if you're following them, like if they're recording the story and they're keeping track of everything, following their story from week to week is the most fun you can have, keeping your clothes on listening to a podcast. I'm gonna say it's more fun. I dare say it's more fun than our podcast. And if it's not, whatever. If you don't play Dungeons and Dragons, or if you do play,
don't listen to Food for Worms.
listen to Dungeons and Dragons podcast. No, I'm joking. Please listen to us. But it's been fun, and I miss it, and I'm gonna start playing again at some point.
Do you think you'll be more likely, you'll probably have to like resort to doing it online, or is that like an absolutely
I will do what I have to do, but I want to get into a place where I can
physically be with humans.
I think I prefer to play in person more above anything.
And I get that, because I like playing cards like rummy or cribbage and stuff, and I've never, and I know people that play cards all day, every day on their phone or something, like an app game or something like that. But
you know what's really funny? What? Holy shit. My dude, Nate, he sent me like, because like on Apple phones, you can play like little games with people and that shit. This motherfucker sent me, he wanted to play some card game on there a month ago, and I was like, sure. He played once, I played once, he played once, and then I just fucking walked away from the game. So somewhere the game is still happening, and Nate, if you're listening to this, I am so sorry.
Well, but I've never been one to play cards on like a phone game. I think I played like solitaire or something like that, but on the computer. But I like, solitaire is also like a solo game, you know. So I mean, but playing cards with people, I'd rather do it, because half of it is just fucking socializing and talking shit to each other and stuff like that. So I fully get the wanting to be in the human form.
Yeah, you just look motherfuckers in the eye when they are destroying a fucking goblin cave, or
making bad decisions in gameplay.
Fucking decisions, or they're making the best decision, but they roll a 1. Listen, there are a few things in this world that like I live for, and it's the abject horror of rolling a natural 1 when it's something important, and then when you roll a natural 20 and it's also something important and awesome. When when it's all on the line, it's like it's your fucking roll, and if you don't roll this right, it's gonna go bad. It's like, if you don't get this right, you die, the person next to you dies, and whatever's gonna happen to get y'all out of this fucking out of this cave is not gonna work.
So game over if you die.
And it's not game over because you get your little death saves and shit. But it's like sometimes the course of a game can be shifted by one roll.
Yeah.
If you get fucked up and all of a sudden your rest of your party is trying to save you, whatever, and then all of a sudden the shit just goes bad for them, and also there's an energy to the dice that's sometimes there too. You kind of like I've just thrown dice away. I'm not super dice suspicious, but I am just a little stitious, and sometimes and I've had some nights where I'm like, I roll complete shit with these fucking dice, and I just threw them away. I was like, nah, I'm not rolling with this. I keep the damage dice. I throw the fucking D20 the fuck away. Fuck that thing. And that's why I don't. I have so many other dice, but I lack D20s because if I get really sad with them, then I burn them with fire. Anyway, yeah, that was fun. It's good to be back, buddy.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I mean, it hasn't really fucking changed here.
Yeah.
You know, I've just been. I went through my record collection and coming back to like how I'm working towards like reselling things online and whatever. I went through my record collection because I haven't like sat and gone through it in probably a couple of years. And like, you know, by go through it, like I'm going through it all the time to pull out a record, but go through it by like literally looking at each thing and either throwing it on but I went through literally everything. And I probably have like 150 records that I either had doubles or I haven't listened to in like 10 plus years. Like I'm actually like, I have a lot of shit, but I've learned to like certain things I don't need to keep around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like parting with things. And I've just learned to understand like a lot of stuff. Yeah, it needs a home, but someone else out there hopefully is going to treat it right. Yeah. You know, like specifically like records like I'm talking about or old video games. Like I found my old fucking Sega Genesis and shit. And, you know, like, I don't know if you ever played those games. I think they're the same as Super Nintendo games. Like they're the same era or whatever.
Yeah, Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis around the same time. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, fucking the Lion King game and
that game.
You don't like that game?
Did you know that the game is made hard on purpose?
I love that. That makes me so happy.
No, that's the worst. It is literally impossible to fucking beat.
And then do you hate the Aladdin game too? Because Aladdin was probably my favorite game on Sega
play
Genesis.
Aladdin. I have nothing but fucking hatred for the Lion King game. No. Here's the thing, man.
It was a tough fucking game, man.
I don't know who told me this, but it stuck with me. They said that they, meaning the fucking piece shit executives at the time, were like, make this game impossible to beat. You know why?
Why?
Because it would make motherfuckers have to rent it longer or go back and rent it multiple times at the fucking video store.
That's brilliant, though.
It is. On a capitalist bullshit fuck you level, then yeah, it is. But
well, it's like having a movie rental place though too. Like they have the mentality of putting it out like a movie. Like someone's gonna want to watch it multiple times. You're gonna have to get this game. The more you get it, that's how they make their money.
Sam. I understand that part. I fucking know you talking business.
Yeah, I'm just teaching you capitalism.
Mansplaining the fuck out of that. Wow, is that what it's like to be mansplained to? Oh my god, I hate that. Jesus Christ.
Sorry, buddy. No. Neither one of us have been in like a movie rental place in a long time, so I'm not even sure if
I feel dirty.
Yeah, but I mean it's weird because the world that we're in now, like there's people that are like 10 years younger than us that aren't even aware of what that fucking is.
That's fine. They didn't get fucking mansplained what capitalism was. So now I'm gonna read us out on that note. Jesus Christ.
We're going now?
Yeah, might as well. It'll be all right. Wait a second. Thank you all so much for joining us. If you want to submit any questions or topics, head to bit.ly/FFW grab bag or contact us at foodforwormspodcast@gmail.com. You can come over here and kick it with us for more of this existential humor and this jelly. And remember to rate and subscribe Food for Worms on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. You could be anywhere and you choose to be here with us. You could be washing dishes. You could be going to the gym. You could be doing something on your bike. It's great. Check on your strong friends. Tell your people you love them. And remember, you can't take any of this with you. So don't be a dick.
That was a Tom Segura shout out. My favorite stand-up comedian. His bit on bikes is fucking hilarious. So
this has been Food for Worms, everybody. Sam, I love you.
I love you too, buddy. I'm so happy that you're in the attic.
Good to be here, man.
I'll see you again next week.
Yeah.
Or this weekend.
Gang, gang.
Gang, gang.
Gang, gang.
Peace, y'all.
Peace.
The Food for Worms podcast is a hella rad production.
It is recorded and mixed by Samuel Sarver.
Executive producers are Darien Washington and Samuel Sarver.
Theme music is Muffins by Dresden the Flamingo.
Find us wherever you get your podcasts and like, subscribe, and leave a review.
Because we need those reviews.
We do, and it helps people hear our stuff.
It pushes us right to the top. But on top of that, we also get that sweet ass validation. Sam, have you felt validated lately?
Sometimes.
I recently took up this new moniker. Play with me in this space.
What's your new moniker?
Validation Highlander. I used to be chopping fucking heads off, man. So stupid.
Fuck them bullies.
Fuck them bullies. You get it validated, and you get it validated.
And you, and you, and you.
Do you feel seen?
I'll cut your head off.
Oh my God.